on here. This is a sagittal section that shows us the nasal septum. So just some of the things that you can see. This bone is the frontal bone, right? What's a hollow area in a bone called? A sinus. So what sinus would this be if it's in the frontal bone? Frontal sinus, which is a type of nasal sinus, but it is specific. If I asked you this, you would say frontal sinus. Now watch this. Right here, where my stick is, that is actually the cribriform plate. What's the cone sticking up from the cribriform plate? On the ethmoid bone. What was that cone called? That point that sticks up? Remember the crista? Crista galli. That's the crista galli on this view. And then from the cribriform plate, watch this. This big plate coming down here that forms the top part of your nasal septum is the perpendicular plate. The bottom bone was a facial bone. There's only one. That was the vomer. So those were two bones that we looked at on here, but we also looked at it on the skull. Let me see the skull for a second. Remember, we also looked at it in here too. The top bone up here was the perpendicular plate. The bottom bone was the vomer. So you should be able to identify that from this view, as well as this view over here. You can take that back. Okay. So those are some of the things you should see. You also see the hard palate, which is the roof of the mouth. This is the palatine process of the maxilla. Remember we said that does the front 3/4, and then the back 1/4 was the palatine bone. So just to show you, these are some of the things you can see here. Well, I got your attention. The other one is the other half. You can see the same stuff. If I pointed to here again, what's this sinus? Frontal sinus. What's this cone sticking up this time? Now we got it, right? Crista galli, we can see that here. We can see the cribriform plate. But this is a side wall of the nasal cavity, not the middle. So these, what are these scrolls right up here called? Our nasal concha. Good. The top two, the middle and the superior, are part of the ethmoid bone. The bottom one is the inferior nasal conch, which is a facial bone. So you can see them here. And you should also be able to see on this one too. Thank you. If you look on the side wall of the nose, there's a scroll up top. That is the superior and the middle nasal conch. The scroll on the bottom is the inferior nasal conch. I do use these, so please know them. Okay?